welcome back to Elfo Deco. Today we're going to be making some more coasters, and if you're a coffee lover, you're gonna love this one because we're making coffee bean coasters. We have two versions, one with glitters and then one with gold flakes, and they both turned out really pretty. And I'll teach you exactly how I make them. Let's get started. To begin, we have to mix up some resin. I usually mix beforehand, but this time I'm going to show the measuring and mixing process. I usually pre-mix because it's faster for the videos, but I'll add the mixing step in to some videos from now on just so you can see what I'm using and how I measure and mix the resin. For this specific resin, Totabo's high performance resin and their slow hardener version, I have a dispenser for it that's calibrated specifically for this resin. This dispenser makes my life so much easier, and this is the main reason why the high performance is my go-to resin. I've had this dispenser for almost 2 years now and it has not failed me once. If you were to put another 2-to-1 resin in there though, I can't guarantee that it'll work. The dispenser is kind of expensive, but the kit itself comes with calibrated pumps, so you don't need a scale or anything. For the mixing, I mix in multiple directions and making sure I scrape around the edges. You can see that from the start, the resin is foggy and streaky. As we mix, it starts to clear up. Mixing slowly will minimize the bubbles added to the resin. This mixing process you see now was about 5 minutes sped up. Now we're at the end of our mixing, and here's what the mixture looks like. Now let's go pour the first layer of the coffee bean coasters. First, we have to create a glitter mixture and a gold leaf mixture. We're going to pour a little bit of resin into these really small measuring cups I have. I think they're medicine cups. And for the glitter mixture, I am using Unicone's crushed crystal. I just add a scoop in there and then mix it up evenly. I have some gold flakes in a little baggie. I just added them into the resin and mixed. For the gold flakes, I am also pressing them against the sides to break them up so the flakes are smaller. This is just my personal preference. I wanted these coasters to be on a white background, so to mix the white, I am using Mixel's white tint paired with Mayspring's white pearl mica powder to add some shimmer. Make sure to mix well so that there are no pigment chunks. Again, my mixing is very sped up, so mix slowly to minimize the bubbles in your resin. Once I am done mixing, I will just use a heat gun to pop any of the bubbles in the resin. Don't forget to clean your molds before you pour. I got some pigments and glitters in the mold as I was scooping those out, so I'm just cleaning that up with some blue tape. Now I'm pouring the white resin into the molds. These square coaster molds are from Crown Made. You'll be able to find the supplies used in this video linked in the description. We're doing this project in 3 layers to add some more depth to these coasters. This layer is just a thin layer for some coffee beans to sit on. I don't want them fully covered in this layer. These coffee beans are from my local supermarket. We don't need anything fancy unless you want to preserve specific beans for memory or something. I put a small amount of coffee beans into the mold and then spread it out. I will add more in the second layer, so I didn't pack this too much. You can still see the beans have submerged into the white layer. The second layer will be clear with beans, so you'll see the top of the beans in the second layer. Floating beans was kind of the effect I was going for. Now I'm adding glitter to 2 of the coasters and gold flakes to the other 2. I didn't want to make 4 of the same coasters, so let me know which ones you like more in the comments after. I am sprinkling the glitter and flakes into the coaster and mixing it into the white. Now that I'm watching this and doing the voiceover, I realized maybe I could have just mixed the glitter and flakes into the white beforehand. But what you see here is what I did. You'll see me constantly move the coffee beans around for 2 reasons. One, I'm making sure the glitter and flakes are even, and too to help with the bubbles released from the coffee beans. Once I like the look of this layer, I'll use a heat gun to pop the bubbles and then let these sit for a few hours to harden. Now we're back with the second layer, and I have everything pre-mixed since it was shown earlier. Instead of white, the main pour will be clear. I have the same glitter mix, the same gold flake mix, and I have a little bit of white that is just the mixo tint to create a wispy effect for this layer. The coffee beans are the same. I mixed enough resin to fill the mold up to 2/3 way through, leaving 1/3 for the last layer. This time I am going to fill this layer with lots of coffee beans, mainly focusing on the spots where you don't see the beans from the previous layer. Then I will do the process of adding the glitters and gold flakes again. For the white, I am just drizzling it like icing and then swirling it around. The third layer is just a layer of clear resin to even out the top because the beans were creating a bumpy surface. This layer was poured after the previous layer has hardened. Now it's about 6 hours later and we're ready to demold these coasters. I can already see a cup of coffee on this coaster and it'll be so perfect. I wish I had used more glitters for this one, but I really love how it turned out. The glitter and the white is giving me this wintry vibe and reminds me of snow. Are you feeling that as well? Now let's demold the gold flakes one. The gold flakes one turned out really nice too. I can't decide which one is my favorite. I will top coat these coasters for the dome effect, so I'll go add a protection layer on the back of these and then be back to top coat with you. We're back and almost ready to dome. Let me just set up the cups to place the coasters on first, and this time I'll actually give the edges a quick sand. The edges for these had some tiny bumps from the resin pours, so that's why I'm doing this. I am using a little bit of water and a small piece of 320 grit sandpaper and just going along the edges. I'm using a dry paper towel to dry the pieces afterwards. I usually lightly sand the back of my pieces if I was working backwards too, just to get a smoother edge. Once all my edges are evened out, I am going to use Totobo's tabletop resin to top coat. I already had my resin mixed up. I usually mix up my resin and let it sit for a few minutes for the bubbles to rise to the surface. This depends on the work time of the resin, of course. The tabletop takes about 12 hours to cure for me, so we'll take these out when they're done. The coasters are fully cured now, and look at them in the sunlight. The glitters definitely show more, and that wispy white makes these so dreamy. These coasters are just perfect for any coffee table. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments which one you like more. I'll see you next time.